Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Happy Wednesday morning to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live comes to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar and Game Changer presenting the annual Par-Mar Shootout on the campus of West Virginia State next week. Starts Monday, runs through Thursday of next week. 4 big days, 8 exciting boys and girls basketball games each day. First games tip off at 9:30 in the morning. For a complete list of games, visit Par-Mar stores on Facebook or X. And if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. Looking for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck? Come check out the 2024 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ in High Country today. Find new roads to Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 in Chapmanville. Coming up a little bit later on the show, Senator Amy Nicole Grady is going to join us. Also, the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education, Kate White, is here. We're going to spend some time with some folks from the Marshall Quarterback Club, including my good friend and frequent tag team partner, Steve Hannibal, from our sister station 98.7 Mountain Wild Wonderful Classic Rock. The Marshall Quarterback Club presenting their annual Valentine's event happening at Embassy Suites in Charleston coming up here in a couple of weeks. Robert Stonestreet is going to join us to talk about that as well. But before we get into all that, we got breaking news. Let's go to the newsroom. Jeff Jenkins is with us right now. Jeff, good morning. Lead story and photo posted at WVMetroNews.com. Police in Charleston investigating a murder at the Tobacco and Pipe Shop on 7th Avenue. Some breaking details just in the last 30 minutes. Where are we on the story?
So there's been an arrest made. So police have now identified the victim in this. The clerk was killed. He's a 19-year-old from Dunbar, Caden Martin, was shot multiple times last night at the Tobacco and Pipe store, which is on 7th Avenue over in North Charleston. And police also, so they released the name and also announcing that they made an arrest overnight. A 14-year-old boy is charged with the murder and the robbery. And they say that from their investigation, which I'm assuming is probably some video surveillance, that the 14-year-old entered the store and he brandished the gun, demanded money and merchandise. They say the clerk, the 19-year-old victim here, complied, did not show any aggressive action toward the 14-year-old. And as the 14-year-old is walking out, this is the allegation, as the 14-year-old was walking out, he fired multiple shots and killed the 19-year-old and then ran. Police had originally released information last night. Again, this all happened right around 8:40 last night. They originally released some information that said that the suspect was in dark clothing, had a mask on, and those type of things. So that was the original information that came out. But they arrested him at like 1:30 this morning, the 14-year-old. And not much more besides that because he's obviously a juvenile.
Sure,
and I would think at some point they would move. Now, this gets down the road a little bit, but at some point they would move to having tried as an adult. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But it's pretty that's pretty shocking in itself, a 14-year-old committing a murder and allegedly a robbery and a murder there in North Charleston.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's a shocking story anyway when it first broke, late last night about this robbery. And that's the second murder in Charleston.
And the other one is also tragic, but it was it was a domestic,
Right.
type of thing,
Yeah.
and so and it makes it no less serious.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously.
But this story out of North Charleston, out of this tobacco shop, you have a 14-year-old who's charged in the murder and a 19-year-old who apparently, and again, we'll all work all this out at some point, the police will, but apparently complied, as they tell you in situations like that. Please, just comply, give them what they want. And the 19-year-old ends up getting killed anyway. It's a tragic story. Again, we've got stories posted about it on the website, WCHSnetwork.com. I know you and Chris and team been working on it. Real quick, yesterday we learned that the wife of Senator Manchin, Gail Manchin, was injured in a car accident in Alabama. She's in stable condition. Any update on her condition?
Well, the update there is the Homewood, Alabama police now report that the guy who hit her and her colleague that was with her in Alabama was actually being chased by police.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a pursuit going on, had been going on for several minutes, and they were chasing this suspect and who had refused to stop. And so that's who was in the wreck. That's who caused the wreck. And they hit Gail Manchin's vehicle that she was in and the colleague from the Appalachian Regional Commission that was with her. Mm-hmm. And again, she's in stable condition, but enough to be hospitalized, obviously injured enough to be hospitalized and kept as a precautionary measure, the senator said. But so we find out a little more. It's Homewood, Alabama police, which is just a suburb. It's right outside Birmingham. But yeah, it was actually a suspect in a police pursuit.
Okay. And again, those stories and more are posted at our websites, WVMetroNews.com and WCHSNetwork.com. Jeff, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All right.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Meeks Realty Group, where trust and efficiency are the cornerstones of their service. Meeks offers years of experience in both residential and commercial real estate sales with results that will exceed your expectations. At Meeks, it's about more than the agreement. Your real estate transaction is the biggest deal that you have going on at that time. You're getting a partner with Meeks that you can rely on for a lifetime of successful investments. Call 304-440-1101 or visit Meeks.us. Senator Amy Nicole Grady coming up a little bit later on. Also, Kate White, the latest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education. I want to bring in now Steve Animal from our sister station, 987 Mountain Wild, wonderful classic rock. Stephen, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Robert Stonestreet is with us as well. He's with the Marshall Quarterback Club. Robert, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, guys, for being here. It is Marshall Day at the Capitol.
It is. I saw that this morning.
Today. And I've got Robert here because this is an annual event that the Marshall Quarterback Club does. This year, it's moved over to Embassy Suites. Mm-hmm. It's the Valentine's Day event. And for some reason, for the second consecutive year, you've asked Steve and myself to MC this event. I don't know what you're thinking.
He's lost his mind.
Were you not there last year to see what we did last year? But we're honored to do it. Steve and I are both Marshall guys. We are very, very happy to MC the event and possibly get the police called. No, I'm kidding about that.
I'm there for the drinks and the food.
Talk about this big event, Robert. Go ahead.
Sure, thanks. This is our 19th annual event, coming up on 20 years now. It's hard to believe. We have this event every year, the Marshall Quarterback Club of Charleston. We support primarily the Marshall football team, but all athletics as well. It'll be at Embassy Suites on the 17th. Mm-hmm. Starts at 6. Tickets are available through Herd Zone if you go under the Big Green Events tab. And we're selling table sponsors. You can be a white table sponsor for $2,000. That gets you 10 tickets to get in. And your tickets do include dinner, beer, wine, and soft drinks, all complimentary with that. And then table sponsors also get some drink tickets. If you want a little harder edge to your drinks, you can have tickets for those.
Calm down.
And there's a cash bar as well. But we have a DJ who's a great DJ, lots of dancing, and have some excellent auction items too.
There always are. Some incredible auction items and that go along with this thing. Can you give us a little preview of some of the auction items we have?
Sure. So we've got the live auction is usually the biggest hit. One of the items here is a trip to the Ohio State game that's coming up. And it's not only just a trip to the game, but you will fly over on the Marshall Flight School plane.
Oh, cool.
And go to the game and back from there. So it's a day trip. You get to fly on the plane. You get to see the Herd play Ohio State. That's probably our marquee live auction item. And then word is we're going to have a 75 helmet that will be up for live auction as well.
And there's always all kinds of signed memorabilia and things of that nature, and it's just a great night all around. And again, the location in the past was at a different hotel. It's moved over to Embassy Suites this year, so I'm sure those folks will do a fantastic job with that. And what is the theme this year for the dinner?
This year's theme is the Green and White Night. It is always Valentine's, but this year we're encouraging folks to dress in your best green and white.
You hear that, Animal?
Yeah. Maybe your wife has something I can wear.
There's an image I'd like to get out of my head. But that's the theme, the Green and White Night. Obviously, that goes without saying. But again, they're asking for the best of the best in green and white to come out to support third. And proceeds benefit
the Big Green, the Marshall Quarterback Club of Charleston, and the Marshall football team.
Okay, it's and there's always some coaches that come out for this thing. And again, this is one of those big events in Charleston. We do Paint the Capital City Green up at the Bill No Flight School each August, I guess. And
yes.
and Steve and I also have the pleasure of emceeing that. And this thing is just one of those premier events in Charleston that even people that aren't necessarily the biggest hardcore herd fans in the world will come out for because it's just a dang good time, Robert.
It is an excellent time. You don't have to be a Marshall fan. Please come out and enjoy yourself. We will have the Marshall coaches. Coach Huff will be there. We expect the new offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, to be there, as well as the defensive coordinator, Jason Seymour. And other coaches are invited too.
Yeah.
And Marshall alumni are more than welcome to come to this. And that's kind of the push on this, too, is to get people from this area to participate in all things green and white. And here's a good night to do it. So.
Yeah, and it's not till, what's the date again?
It's February 17th. Which is coming up 2 weeks from Saturday. You can buy individual tickets for $175, or again, you can be a table sponsor. There's different levels of table sponsors.
Now, what's the deadline for the table sponsors? Because I know you have to do things like programs and things of that nature. So is there a deadline for those sort of things?
We don't have a hard deadline, but pretty much the week before, I'd say the Tuesday, Wednesday before the event would be the deadline for table sponsors.
Okay, we'll have you on again to talk about it again. Steve Animal and I will be serving as the MCs again. It's just going to be a fantastic night as always as we get ready to celebrate Valentine's Day. And so Mrs. Dave Allen and Mrs. Animal,
yes.
I love the way that's Mrs. Animal, they get their night out on the town too with us.
They do, which is kind of fabulous. I mean, I think so. I'd like to put myself up maybe on the silent auction thing, but I don't know if I'd go. Probably
not.
Date with Steve Animal.
The date with Steve. His wife would be the first one not to bid on it. Probably. You take it.
You take
it. You got to feed him and keep him in beer. You do it. All right. Let's kind of recap before we let you go, Robert. Again, date, time, where can people get tickets, that sort of thing.
Sure. Saturday, February 17th. The event starts at 6. It runs till midnight. You can get tickets at herdzone.com under the tab for Big Green events.
And it's all going to be at Embassy Suites this year.
That's right.
All right.
Be there.
Looking forward to it. Again, we'll have you back on again as we get a little bit closer because it's a big event, kind of close to mine and Steve's hearts as well. And this guy and I are going to do what we do there on that Saturday night. I don't know exactly what that is, but we're going to do it.
Is there going to be a photo booth there again?
Yes, there will be.
We can have our picture taken.
That was a big hit last year. That again, all proceeds benefit the Big Green. Hey, Robert, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave.
Robert Stonestreet again from the Marshall Quarterback Club. Animal, it's always a pleasure to have you here as well.
Thank you. I'm going to just roll in this chair.
Whee! He's excited because we have a bigger studio than what he does up there. So, but they're actually going to be remodeling this studio. I understand it's going to be a whole lot smaller. So I'll have one, I guess, the size that
was fun.
Yeah. All right. You give the guy something shiny or something with wheels, and he's good to go. All right, Robert, I appreciate you being here, man. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk to the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education, Kate White, coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
We are Professional Grade. Are you looking for a new truck or SUV that can handle any terrain or challenge? Then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Right now, you can get a $6,000 purchase allowance when you trade an eligible vehicle on the new GMC Sierra 1500. Or shop Thornhill's great selection of GMC terrain. You can enjoy 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers on the small SUV that offers GMC Pro Safety Plus. Plus, you'll get a $500 purchase allowance and no payments for 90 days. Click or come by ThornhillGMSuperstore.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119, Chapmanville. So factor G Financial, see Thornhill for all details.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
(9:23) the Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. I had a text here I want to get to before we get to Kate White, and it says, yesterday I heard Dave mention a drawing for tickets to see Jordan Peterson. I was driving, didn't get to write down the website. I searched and have not found it. Can you please repeat that again? Yeah, it's real simple. It is our website, WCHSnetwork.com. Again, www.WCHSnetwork.com. Go to there, and you can register for tickets to see Jordan Peterson, and I'll have that coming up a little bit later on the show. Last week, the Kanawha County Board of Education announced a new member. It's Kate White, who will be replacing Ryan White, who will instead be running for the West Virginia Intermediate Court of Appeals. Several names were submitted to the board, and they chose Kate White. Mrs. White, who is actually away at a conference right now, but is taking time out of her schedule to be here with us today. Kate, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks so much for having me. I'm in the big city of Charlotte this morning. So
Charlotte, North Carolina. How's the weather down in Charlotte? Because it's not too bad right here.
It's pretty crummy. It's rainy and dropping down. Last night I hit some snow, so it wasn't.
Oh, really? Okay. We haven't had snow here in a couple of weeks. We had a couple of flurries last night. So, well, that completes the weather report. Kate, congratulations on being named to the school board.
Thanks so much, Dave. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate support from the members of the board and the folks who've reached out. I'm really excited to get in, to learn, and be a good listener and build some consensus and do some good. Give us your background. Tell us about Kate White. Sure. I was fortunate to be born and raised in West Virginia. I'm from Elkins in Randolph County. Went to public schools there. Went to college at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh and came back, was in AmeriCorps Vista for a year, and then went to College of Law at WVU. After that, been in Charleston, clerked for Judge Duke Bloom, who retired last year, and then I've primarily worked at Legal Aid of West Virginia. I'm an attorney there, but I also am a statewide manager of programs. It's a nonprofit law firm. What do you see as the biggest issue facing Kanawha County schools as you head in? I know you just got there; you're still learning, where the restrooms are in the board office and things of that nature. But what do you see as the biggest issue facing Kanawha County schools, Kate? The biggest issue is the continuing decline of our student population and really how that impacts the bottom line and the fiscal future that we face. With declining student population means that the school aid formula, we don't get the funds that, we do when we have more students. And unfortunately, that impacts staffing, that impacts our ability to fix our buildings. We've got 60-some schools across the county, and they have a lot of needs in different ages. And so, the staffing and the school buildings, I think, are particularly some of the biggest problems they're facing.
So I guess the big question is, why do you do this? I mean, why would you want to be on this? And I've told this story on the show before. My cousin was a former school board president in another county, and he always said to me, tongue in cheek, he said, everybody should have to serve on the school board. It's like serving on the jury because it can be a lot of headache, but it can also be very rewarding. So what is in this for you? Why did you decide you wanted to serve when you were given the appointment and they reached out to you?
Sure. First and foremost, I'm a parent. I have 3 kids in Kanawha County schools, so I see the impact of our wonderful teachers every day when they come home, and how they help my kids meet their needs. They have friends, and I see it with them too. I think fundamentally as a community and quite frankly as a state, we've got to invest in our kids and our future, and one of the most important foundations they can have is an education and having a caring adult in their life. And for a lot of kids, that is their teachers. So the opportunity to give back, to contribute, to bring the background that I have, and, my desire to just try to help make sure we're meeting kids, all their needs, where they are, is just something that really drove me to want to do this.
And, we've seen the numbers go down in Kanawha County, and we've seen, unfortunately, I know no one likes to lose their schools in their communities because the schools, particularly the elementary schools, always seem to be kind of like the hub of the community. But sometimes it is required, and their schools have to be shuttered. Unfortunately, no one likes to see it happen, but it does happen. And so those are some tough decisions that you may very well be making in the future.
Unfortunately, those are absolutely things that I think the school board has to look at. They have to have a balanced budget. And so when you only have so much money, you have to consider all those things. Staffing is a real challenge too. We've got a lot of kids that are still recovering from COVID, just facing a lot of challenges at home. And so making sure that we have enough teachers to meet their needs, but that our teachers aren't overwhelmed and are getting support they need too. So yeah, there are real significant challenges, but I do think that there's an ability to make a difference and to make sure that we're supporting our students, we're supporting our teachers, and doing the best we can, for all Kanawha County residents, because education supports everybody in our community.
And again, we're talking with Kate White, who's the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education. And we've seen, Kate, and I'm not going to get into this argument, but we've seen over the last couple of years that more and more parents are choosing alternate methods for educating their kids, be it charter schools or more, or remote learning or whatever. There's various different names and various different ways that they do it. What do you do? And I know you're not in the advertising business, but what do you do to tell parents that, hey, public schools are the place for most kids to be?
Right. I mean, I think that as a school system, we have done a better job and can continue to do a better job of touting our own horn. We've got students that are doing amazing things, going on to amazing careers and amazing colleges, and we just have to keep making sure parents hear those messages. Sure, there are things that can always be better and improved, and I think we always have to work to do that. But we've got to continue to get the message out there about all the really good things that are happening here. And we also got to make sure we keep our kids here in West Virginia. We want them to stay. We want them to be educated, college and career ready, but we also want them to stay here and see the good that they can do in their community and contribute back to West Virginia.
And before we let you go, I spend a lot of time on this show being the old guy in the room talking about, well, when I was in school and whatever, but it has changed. My generation was told everybody has to go to college. Everybody had, and they spent time in high school telling us about what colleges we need to go to. And now, and I am very thankful for this, Kate, there seems to be more of an emphasis on, if you want to go to WVU, Marshall State, UC, whatever, that's fine. But if you also want to go into one of the trade schools, you want to learn an occupation outside of a traditional 4-year institution, the public school system makes that pretty easy as far as transitioning into those.
100%, and that's so important because we need to give all students, like you said, college isn't for everybody. Quite frankly, the amount of student debt, that kids have to take on to do that is just really cost prohibitive. So making sure that we're supporting and working with our college and community colleges and making sure that the trades are supported and quite frankly can make a lot more money is really important. And we need those folks in our community to help take care of things, in our homes, in our businesses, and in our state.
Well, Kate, I know you're busy. As you said, you're at calling us up from a conference today. We'll let you get back to it. Kate White, the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education. Thank you. Good luck, and let's have you back on the show again real soon. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave. Have a great day.
You as well. Kate White, again, the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education. It's 9:30, Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text, 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy West Virginia tackles pressing health issues like heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, RSV, and more. This podcast offers insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles and beyond West Virginia. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetroNews.com under the podcast menu and start with your journey toward better health today. Text says, I'm in Vegas, and it's 6 a.m., and I got up early just to listen to the Dave Allen Show, says a texter. Well, I appreciate that, but, the shows are available via podcast. So if you want to enjoy Vegas a little bit more and you don't want to get up at 6 a.m., they'll be there for you when you get back. Available on social media, on my social media sites, Dave Allen Radio, and also the Dave Allen Show on X, also WCHSnetwork.com, YouTube, your favorite podcast provider. I don't want to say don't waste your time, but if you're in Vegas, do Vegas. Don't do Dave. Text says, what's up with guys listening to Jordan Peterson? Are they actively trying to repel women? I have to say, I was not somebody who was that familiar with Jordan Peterson. And I'd seen a couple things here or there, and then I learned that he was coming to the Municipal Auditorium in Charleston on February the 7th. And so I started doing like a little deep dive into the controversies and so on and so forth surrounded by Dr. Peterson. But I will say this, he is a very controversial figure. Yes, that is true. But since it was announced by the folks locally that Dr. Peterson was going to be coming to the auditorium on February 7th, there's been a lot of buzz about it. There's been buzz pro and con. I get that. But we've had a lot of interest here at the radio station, I can tell you that. And by the way, the name of the tour is We Who Wrestle with God, and it's going to be at the Municipal Auditorium on February the 7th, and we are giving away tickets. Now, you can go to the website, WCHSnetwork.com/talktickets for a chance to win your free tickets. Real simple. Again, the website, WCHSnetwork.com, which you should be going there several times a day anyway. Go over to the website, and you'll see a tab that you can click on, and you can register for tickets. We're going to be giving away those tickets on Friday for Dr. Jordan Peterson again at the Municipal Auditorium coming up on February the 7th. So go and register for those tickets. And again, we've had a heck of a lot of interest. I've gotten calls since this was announced from people asking me if I can get them tickets. So it's definitely going to be a popular show, popular lecture, popular whatever you want to call it. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Get with them for a quote before you start your project. If you're tired of sorting through a bunch of crooked boards, get with General Hardware and Lumber. They have the straight quality lumber you're looking for with great pricing and the service you expect from a locally owned business. General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Text says, ask Senator Grady if she finally understands that teaching intelligent design in public schools violates First Amendment. And as she claims, intelligent design is science, provide one novel, testable prediction that intelligent design makes that we can verify. Testing and reproducibility are hallmarks of real science, says the texter. Well, Senator Grady is scheduled to be with us next. She's at the Capitol, but we're going to check in with her coming up right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. You hear us say that a lot, but it's true. Wherever you may go, chances are you'll find a Par-Mar store there, offering everything you need to get you in and then back on the road as soon as possible. From gas to groceries and snacks and items for your house, we have it at Par-Mar stores. Download the app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card too. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
When you meet someone for the first time, a beautiful smile is the best first impression. If you desire a beautiful smile, no matter where you are in your dental journey, let Garib Dental Group and their experienced dental professionals help make it a reality. From routine cleanings to complex cosmetic treatment, simple fillings to advanced implant placement, Garib Dental Group is prepared to handle any smile. And with the latest technology conveniently placed at each of their 6 locations, Garib Dental Group is prepared to handle the most complex treatment plans. Visit GaribDentalGroup.com to learn more. We love to see your smile.
580 WCHS stands as the heart of live local sports in the Kanawha Valley. We're your go-to for the thrilling world of high school football, basketball, and baseball, showcasing the best players and most unforgettable plays.
Fry says he caught it, and there's the challenge flag is out. What a catch. And he's got a foot in. He's got two in.
We are committed to bringing the spirit of local sports right to your radio.
Where champions are made and memories are born.
The voice of Charleston, 580 WCHS.
"24 minutes away from 10. Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Senator Amy Nicole Grady coming up here in just a matter of moments from the Capitol. The impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. The inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. Text says, when Jordan Peterson is at the Municipal Auditorium, they're going to lift a giant red flag. All the women in the area will know what that means, according to a texter. All right. The big story locally this morning, again, we led with it at the top of the show, was this murder in Charleston last night. In case you haven't heard about it, police in Charleston investigating the murder at the Tobacco and Pipe Shop. Took place on 7th Avenue in Charleston. Now, it has been revealed this happened sometime during the 8 o'clock hour last night. And there was apparently an attempted robbery, and a 19-year-old clerk was killed in the robbery. And now, within the last hour, a 14-year-old has been arrested in that murder. Tragic story all around. Murder is always tragic, but especially when the 19-year-old clerk doing their job lost their life, and a 14-year-old has been charged in the murder. Details available, WCHSnetwork.com, WVMetronews.com as well. Let me see. Let me knock out a text here, then we'll go to Amy Grady. Text says, Dear Dave, in reference to Mr. Peterson's show, buzz is buzz, good or bad. For example, every time you interview Kent Carper, it's a train wreck that I can't keep my ears off of. Says a texter. All right. Let's check in with Senator Amy Nicole Grady, who's live at the Capitol as we speak. Senator, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. Thank you for being here. I told the listeners, this must be your lucky day because you get to talk to me now and Hoppy coming up in Talk Line. Some folks would absolutely give anything to be interviewed by both of us in one morning, and you get it. You get it. You're the lucky one.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how to contain my excitement. It is very definitely the best part of my day.
Yeah. She said tongue in cheek. It's not nice to lie as a politician or a teacher. Just so you know. Just so you know. I want to say this about speaking of teaching, and I actually had Kate White on, who's the newest member of the Kanawha County Board of Education. She was on the segment just before you. Senator Grady, the listeners know that before you were a legislator, and you continue to be a teacher. What are some of the legislative initiatives for teachers and the school system that you and others under the dome have been working on so far?
We have been working on a lot of things, Dave. We actually worked with the department this fall to put out an email with a legislative survey about issues that teachers feel like that need to be addressed. We had respondents from, I think, where there were about 2,200 respondents, and that represented 55 different counties, anywhere from a beginning teacher to teachers with 40-plus years. And it was a very quick one, so I'm hoping the next one we do will have even more responses. Mm-hmm. But the things that they sent us back were things we wanted to focus on. Behavior, student absences, their workload. They talked a lot about we have too many trainings and we feel like that they're repetitive. So those things are things that we have addressed, and I have addressed in bills that I've introduced personally because it's important to listen. I'm also in the profession, so I agree with all of those things. But they also mentioned, a lot of things that we can't change legislatively, like student apathy was one. How you can't legislate. You can give a student as much as you need to in front of them, but you can't force them to learn it. They also mentioned that parent involvement is very low. And so, that's another thing. We can't legislate parental responsibility. That has to be something that somebody wants to do. So we're trying to address the issues that they gave us. And discipline and behavior was the major one. I know we've talked about it before, and I know you've heard me talk about it on Hoppy as well, that's something that needs to be dealt with.
And again, I know you and Hoppy are going to get into the results of that survey a little bit further during your segment with him a little bit later on. But I want to ask you as a teacher, and you brought up a very interesting point there. And again, we're talking with Senator Amy Nicole Grady, who, in addition to being a legislator, is also a teacher. So I know you can't legislate parental involvement, but as a teacher, and I don't want to give away trade secrets here, but have you ever had the opportunity, or you ever had a instance, Senator, where you've had to pull a parent or a grandparent aside and just say, look, we're doing all we can here, but we really need you and the family more involved at home? I know it's a very touchy subject, and you don't want to get into telling people how to raise their kids, but have you ever had to have that conversation with someone?
Absolutely. Every year that I've taught, I have. And a lot of times, Dave, it's I want to say for the most of the time, it's that they don't realize the importance of being involved at home, and or they're overwhelmed with other responsibilities. I mean, right now we have parents and grandparents who are busy working a job in the evenings, or working 2 jobs, or kids are also involved in a lot of things, like sports in the evenings, and they don't feel like they have the time they need for schoolwork. So they feel like it's a separation. You do schoolwork at school, and then at home we have all these other responsibilities. So I've had that conversation almost every year with a parent or more about the importance and how they can help. In our small school, I'm really encouraged, though, because we often have parents that reach out and say, what can I do to help? And that's always encouraging. We're a very small school, very tight-knit community, though, and I think that makes a big difference.
And you mentioned that kids have so many responsibilities today and so many other activities. I've been told by a lot of educators, you can agree or disagree with this, Senator Grady, that there are students that it's either a feast or famine. You have a kid that is involved in way too much, from sports to other activities, or they're involved in absolutely nothing. And when they go home, they get that constant reinforcement from you and the educators, or maybe their classmates, whatever, and then they go home to horrendous situations that you and I can't even imagine in many cases, and they go home to nothing. Do you find that to be the case? It could be one or the other?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, in 4th grade, my first year or two of teaching 4th grade, I would send homework occasionally, and the kids would come back and it wouldn't be completed. And these were kids where, I knew their parents loved them and I knew they cared, but they had other things that were on their mind. So, it was a wasted bit of time. And I started learning my students, and a lot of my students live in poverty, and realized that they're not worried about getting their homework finished. There's other things they're worried about. They're worried about if they're when they're going to eat, if they're going to eat, where they're going to sleep. Maybe they don't have their own bed or own bedroom, and they sleep on the couch, and the parents have friends over until 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and they're trying to sleep on the couch. Those are situations that we don't really think about with these kids. They're not thinking about us. Even when they're at school and they're supposed to be learning, they're not thinking about learning, or they're not thinking about how they're going to do on a test. They're thinking, okay, when's lunch? I'm starving. I haven't eaten since yesterday at lunch. Who's picking me up from school today? I don't know who it's going to be. Where am I going to sleep tonight? Where am I going? Where am I staying for the evening? All these things are on their minds. And the kids who are involved in a lot of sports have parents who I feel like push them, but the others, in the other cases, they don't. That at school is where they get everything they need.
Again, talking to Senator Amy Nicole Grady, and we talk a little bit about homelessness with our students. And homelessness is not necessarily what you think of when it comes to our kids. It's not necessarily someone who's living on the streets. It's just somebody that doesn't have a permanent home to call their home.
Yes, and when we take a survey of our homeless students, if they are living somewhere other than with their legal parent or guardian, they're considered homeless. And we have a lot of families that live, like the mom, the dad, and the kids all live with somebody else in their family, like 2-family households. And that family would be considered homeless. And so, not having a space of your own also has its negative effects on our students and their learning.
Exactly. Before we let you go, and I know you got to get back to it again, you're going to be making an appearance on Hoppy coming up a little bit later on. I want to talk to you about your future, about what you are going to do. This is a re-election year for you if you choose to run. Are you running for re-election?
Oh, absolutely. I love this job. I feel like I'm helping people. I feel like that's my focus. My focus has always been how can I help and how can I push West Virginia forward. And, Dave, I always say, when people always ask me about that, I always say, sometimes the best part is when I help somebody behind the scenes that might seem like something little to me, but it's something huge to them, and maybe nobody else knows it, but they know it and I know it. It's just such a good serving feeling, that you're serving the people and you're helping somebody. And that's something I want to continue to do. So, yes, I am definitely in the race, and I'm in it to win it.
Give me like 30 seconds or so. I'm not going to time you before we let you go. Some of the things that during your tenure that you have done, not just based on education, but other things that you've done that you're particularly proud of.
Well, that's one that I just mentioned, was the little things that I do to help, and I try to make sure my door is always open. I stay in contact with the people in my district. I'm always open to, even somebody who has different ideas. I get complimented all the time on that they feel like they can come and share their ideas or thoughts with me, even if we might not agree, that at least I'm going to have respectful conversation. And I think that's important. I think that we have to listen to each other, even if we have opposing arguments on things, because I might open their eyes or they may open my eyes to something I never saw. So I feel like looking at it from different perspectives is something I'm really strong at. And I pride myself on just trying to do the right thing, and I always do. I know you can't focus on making somebody mad because somebody's always going to be mad at you in this position, but I just try to make sure I do the right thing. And when I feel like I do the right thing, I can lay my head down at night and sleep, and that's where I want to be. So that's kind of what I want everybody to know about me, is that that's where my focus is.
Wish you the best of luck, not only under the dome for the rest of the session, but also in your bid for re-election. Senator Amy Nicole Grady, appreciate as always you being here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. And again, she'll be on with Hoppy coming up a little bit later on. They're going to get into the particulars on this survey, and I know Hoppy's talked about it a little bit. But some of the things that I read in the coverage of this survey that was done were astounding. I'm going to get into one of those coming up a little bit later on. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. All right, we're talking about the Jordan Peterson appearance at the Municipal Auditorium come up on February 7th, and we are giving away tickets. Go to the website, WCHSnetwork.com, and you can register. We'll be giving away a bunch of tickets on Friday. I understand there was a computer glitch there, and Coop, being Coop, has worked on it, and he's got it fixed. So I appreciate the texter who texted in and said that there was a problem with that. It is fixed now. So you can go to the website if you want to see Dr. Peterson at the Municipal Auditorium on February 7th as part of his We Who Wrestle with God tour. The ticket link is fixed now. Go to the website, our website, WCHSnetwork.com/talk tickets, and register to win yourself free tickets. We're going to be giving those away this Friday. It's an online kind of a deal. You got to go to the website. Again, there was a bit of an issue with the link. Coop, because he's a genius, was able to figure it out, and we got it fixed. So you can go there now. WCHSnetwork.com/talk tickets and register for your chance to see Dr. Jordan Peterson at the Municipal Auditorium coming up on February 7th. Also want to mention this, totally unrelated and totally different sphere of things. It's Wednesday, which means our sister station, V100, will be hanging out at the Red Carpet Lounge in Charleston for Working Women's Wednesday. We start at 5 o'clock after work. Lots of great food and drink specials. Jenny Murray will be there from V100. DJ Matt Murphy pumping out the tunes as well. Prizes of all kinds, drink specials, appetizer specials. It's a good time. Head on over to the Red Carpet tonight for Working Women's Wednesday, sponsored by our sister station, V100, at the Red Carpet Lounge on Elizabeth Street in Charleston. We're going to take a break. We're back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Unsure you're ready for retirement? That's understandable. After all, you only retire once. Make the smart choice and call 4th Avenue Financial. If it deals with retirement planning, you can be confident they have the experience you need. Retire right with 4th Avenue Financial. Go to 4thavenuefinancial.com or call 304-746-7977 to book your free introductory meeting today.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Incorporated, JW Cole Financial, JW Cole Advisors, and 4th Avenue Financial are unaffiliated entities.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Are you fascinated by the unexplained? Then you need to tune in to the award-winning program Weird Darkness on 580 WCHS. Hosted by Darren Millar, named as one of the best storytellers in podcasting, Weird Darkness brings you the best in lore, crime, paranormal, and unexplained stories, like unsolved mysteries with a dash of In Search Of. If you love a good mystery, Weird Darkness is the show for you. Tune in and join the millions of listeners who are hooked on the eerie and unexplained. Welcome, weirdos. Weird Darkness, Sunday nights at 11 on 580 WCHS.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
It's 8 minutes away from 10. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. Brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Husson's, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of appetizer meatballs, only $24.99. Dine-in delivery or pickup. Visit HussonsPizza.com. And talking to those folks at Husson's the other day, that heart-shaped pizza that's always such a big deal in the month of February, it is back. We'll be talking about that more throughout the month of February. Again, Hoppy is going to be live at the Capitol in a matter of moments, coming up at 10:06 from the AARP broadcast location. Mentioned that Senator Amy Grady will be on the show. It is Marshall Day under the dome. Marshall President Brad Smith is going to stop by. You're going to see a whole lot of green. Yesterday was Blue and Gold Day for the Mountaineers, so today it's Marshall Day at the Capitol. Again, President Brad Smith will be there, as others will be. Marco, a whole lot of green and white there at the Capitol today. Also on the show, Chris Steyerwalt will be stopping by. Now, on this show tomorrow, House Speaker Roger Hanshaw is going to be on the show tomorrow. Plus, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about education here as of late. And we're going to spend some time talking about the pre-K program at Kanawha County Schools. Johnny Ferreira is going to join us to talk about that coming up on the show tomorrow. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today for more information. Our phone calls to the show is service of Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, and texting services provided by Fruit Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. I want to go back to this teacher survey that Senator Grady alluded to. And as I said, she and Hoppy are going to get into this a whole lot further on Talkline. I think one thing that really stuck out to me when I read this and in talking to Senator Grady this morning was the number of teachers that say only about 5% of the parents or guardians of their students were actively involved in the process of education. Now, let's think about that for a moment. And again, I always have to say, not a parent, child-free by choice, but I'm not a parent. But you put a kid on a school, okay, who am I kidding? Kids don't ride school buses anymore. That's another pet peeve of mine, but that's another story for another time. So you send your kid off to school, and a lot of parents, not all, but a lot of parents insist on the school system doing all the work. And it's been proven from study after study after study that the work that kids do at home related to schoolwork is just as important as being in the classroom itself. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about homework per se, but having a parent that sits down with a kid and says, "What did you learn today? What did you do in school today? How are your relationships with your teachers? How are your relationships with your classmates?" That sort of thing. I had a former neighbor of my wife and I that was a public school teacher. And this was going back several years ago. And I learned a lot about the school system, even though I don't have kids, by having Tracy as our next-door neighbor. And she would tell me, she was a high school teacher, and she would tell me that at parent-teacher conferences, many of them were quite simply a waste of time. Because, and parental involvement is important, don't get me wrong, the parents who needed to come out there were the ones that didn't show up. And the ones that did come to the parent-teacher conference, that did take an active role in knowing what their kids were learning in school, those tended to be the ones whose kids were doing okay. And again, I'm not trying to downplay that. I mean, you should always be involved in your kids' education. But you show up at a parent-teacher conference and you look as a parent and you look at the teacher, and the teacher says, yeah, Johnny's doing fine. He's got an A. Does everything we ask, does all his homework, does everything. Whereas the other kids, the parents and grandparents in many cases just simply don't care. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and bear with me. I guess it's another one of those Davitorials. Ryan, we got to get some music for the Davitorials, I think. I would say, and I base this nothing more than just on speculation, having been on this here earth for 53 years, that about 95%, if not more, of the problems that we face in this country simply go back to one thing. And it's not drugs. Well, drugs factor into it. But I'm talking about the much, much larger picture here. It's people having kids that have no business having kids. Kids that they don't want, or at this point in their lives, they cannot afford. Whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, or otherwise. It's kids having kids at a young age, or it doesn't have to necessarily even be at a young age. It's kids having kids, or adults having kids, I should say, that simply are not in a position to raise said kids in their life. Employment insecurities, legal issues, so on and so forth. And of course, drugs and mental health issues play a large, large part of that. And then they send the kids off to school, and somehow our teachers, and make no mistake about it, there are some bad teachers out there. There are some awesome, wonderful, great teachers out there as well. They're expected now to be everything to these kids. They're expected to teach them math, spelling, history, computers, but they're also expected to be their counselor. They're also expected to teach them about hygiene. They're expected to teach them all of these things because mommy, daddy, grandma, grandparents simply aren't involved. And our government doesn't make it any easier, because in some instances they reward this behavior by handing out checks to people that have kids. I don't know how you fix it. All I do is complain about it. I don't know how you fix it, but it's majorly a big problem. It is, and my heart goes out to educators for having to try to deal with it on a daily basis. All right. We got to go. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Brightway, the Maze Agency of Taze Valley. You need a quote for your home, your auto, whatever it is, contact John and Sherry Mays today. All right, we got to go. Coming up on the show tomorrow, House Speaker Roger Hanshaw will be stopping by. Also, we're going to talk pre-K, still continue with education. Johnny Ferreira of the pre-K program, Kanawha County Schools, will be here. Hoppy's live at the Capitol next. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
580 WCHS AM, 96.5 FM Charleston, and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.